November meeting of Township, Batavia Township to order. And would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Paul Donnet,
Present.
Troy Chisana,
Here.
John West,
Here.
Jennifer Zorin,
I'm here today.
Lee Tracy.
I am also here. You have the minutes of the October meeting, and so can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Yep, I'll make a motion.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second.
I'll
I'm
second
sorry,
it.
Who made the motion?
Zorn made the motion, and Mr. Toussaint seconded. Okay, are there any additions or corrections, any concerns with regard to the minutes? I will just comment that under the budget transfers, what we approved is cannot be done. We cannot transfer funds from one fund to another, and so there will need to be an alternative to dealing with the general assistance funds. So that's under number 11, new business. With that exception, we have a motion. Any other discussion? Then let's have the clerk call the roll on approval of the minutes of the October meeting.
Zorin,
Yes,
Donnet,
Yes.
Chisana,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a meeting of the decennial committees. And so what I'm going to suggest is that we convene the meeting of the Batavia Township Road District Decennial Committee here, and you have a report of the Batavia Township Road District. So are there any questions, comments, concerns about that report for the Batavia Township Road District report for compliance with the Decennial Committee on Local Government Efficiency?
Looks like a good report to me. It seems to cover all the bases
Good.
adequately, but succinctly set forth, so.
Well, it just followed the TOI recommendations.
Congratulations to TOI.
Ron Link is on this committee, and he called, said he couldn't be here.
Yes,
today.
Ron will not be here.
He had a conflict of interest. Conflict. But he read it, and he liked it.
Any other comments, questions, concerns, corrections, additions? If not, then what I would suggest we do is have a motion by the committee to accept this report. And let's have the clerk call the roll of the members of the committee of the Batavia Township Road District.
I move that we accept the report.
Could you review for me who the committee members are?
They-
Or is it listed?
You have a sheet.
Oh, where is the sheet?
I will give it to you.
I got it.
You got it?
Oh, wait, okay. Well, all those people are
We voted the last sheet.
I'll
The name instead of mine, is that how it should be?
Oh, I'm sorry, who made
No,
Not
I
on
think
that
it's your,
committee.
I
pardon?
think it's your name.
Yeah, I'm on the
Okay.
committee, so
That's
The
how
road
it
district.
is.
Yeah,
motion,
yeah.
I
Donnet?
second it.
Oh, wait a
Is the
minute.
road district or the?
Wait a minute,
This
wait a
is
minute,
the-
wait a minute.
okay, wait.
Sorry.
Oh, all right, I withdraw my,
Second,
I'll second it.
okay.
The road district committee is Chris Long, highway commissioner, supervisor Lee Tracy, trustee Walt Donnet, all the trustees, township resident Tammy Kavanaugh, and township resident Ron Link, who is not here. So let's have a clerk call the roll of those, or the vote of those people on that committee.
Am I on the committee too?
Yep.
You are the clerk.
No,
Okay. All right,
I followed the TOI.
Long,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Donnet,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
And Ron
Link
Link
is
Link
is
absent,
absent.
Tracy, aye. Okay,
Okay, so the report for the road district decennial report has been adopted. Okay, then the next one is the Batavia Township report. And so, are there any questions on that or any corrections?
Likewise, I think that was a very good report, so congratulations to the supervisor and POI.
And TOI.
Very
Yeah,
well.
there's,
Very-
I included a fairly lengthy edition of the so-called Cox reports, which are, which argue that townships and small units of government are probably more efficient than larger units of government. Any other questions, concerns? Then, let's have the clerk call, or let's have a motion to adopt the Batavia Township report.
So moved.
It's been moved, is there a second?
okay.
Moved
who
by
was that?
Katz,
Who moved? Okay,
Howard Katz.
thank you.
is there a
No,
second?
second the
And seconded by Bill Kettering.
Katz
Yes.
and
Any other questions?
Yes.
Katz and Kettering? Katz and
Yep.
who? Who are you? What? Kettering.
His name is William Kettering, he's on the committee, been on it for a year.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to adopt the report as presented. Is there any questions, corrections, comments? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll of the members of that committee.
Okay, Katz,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes,
Tracy, I,
Yes?
Tracy, Lee,
Yes.
Donnet,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zorn.
Yes.
The report is adopted by the committee. The next item on the agenda is a supervisor's report, and there's, I don't know, there's copies of that. Nothing particularly outstanding, other than, I just want to report that we have $1,449,003.01 in the bank, in the bank statements. There was tax revenue to the general fund of $49,000 during the month of October, and personal property replacement tax revenue of $3,944. And you have all that there. Road fund property tax revenue of $21,000 plus, and personal property replacement tax. Want to just mention that the budget reports which you have, we're now in the 7th month of the fiscal year. So my kind of, notion is that there should be about 42% of our budget remaining for the rest of the year. The general fund is a little bit behind. The general assistance fund is considerably behind. All the other funds are okay. Any comments, questions about anything on that report? All righty. And that being the case, let's go to approval of the bills to be paid in November. So we have bills for the general assessors funds for a total of $63,005.54. Is there a motion to approve the payment of those bills?
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Jennifer Zorn, a second.
I'll second.
There's a second by Troy Chisana. Any discussion, questions about any of the general fund and assessors fund bills to be paid this month.
Good with
Hearing none. Let's have a motion to approve the payment of the general and assessors fund bills for a total of $63,005.54.
So move.
Seconded by,
Oh, wait, we already had a
Oh.
motion.
oh, we had a motion already. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, let's have the clerk call the roll then on the approval of the general fund and assessors fund bills for November.
Zorn,
Yes.
Donick,
Yes.
Susana,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And we've got road district bills for a total of $37,133.65. Is there a motion to approve payment of the road district bills?
So move.
Moved by Mr. West,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Donnet. Any questions, concerns, comments? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on payment of the road district bills.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes.
Donick,
Yes.
Susana,
Yes.
Tracy.
What's that?
That's 35,000 plus. Okay, so that motion,
Tracy,
yes. Do we have an assessor's report?
Yes, so we have our final hearings on Thursday for this year, so we do have, if we submitted a correction, like an assessment correction for a taxpayer due to a revalue or something like that, we will get notices, or they will get notices for those, and they still can file, which means I could have more appeals, but pretty much done for the year, so. Just basically catching up, we're still a little short-staffed, but we're keeping up. I had the temp here for a little bit, and then, now Stephanie and Steve are closing out the year, and, that's about it. I did look at my budget a little bit, just to give you an idea of where I'm thinking based on past spending. So if you guys want a copy, I have that.
Yes.
Yes, please.
So it's really, hopefully I have enough. I can make you copies if you need. And it's just kind of generic, starting at the top.
I have one. Oh, you have one.
If you need one, I can make a copy.
There's extra one.
You want that?
Sure. Great.
Thank you for that. Thanks for the
Yep.
information.
This is good.
I might have to fine tune some of the numbers just to, because I don't do the billing part of it, I'll have to talk to Sarah and make sure I have the categories with the right things coming out of the right category that I,
Well, keep in mind, a budget is just an estimate. It's
Yes.
not
Right.
yeah, it's
necessarily
not every
paid.
dollar because you can't, that's pretty impossible, but seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, what we were doing, we will be adopting a budget in March.
Very good. Nice and early.
Yep.
Any questions for Tammy? How about a road commissioner's report?
Yeah, we're big in the leaf this week. Muddier to heck out where we have to dump them, so we've been stuck almost every load. Kills you for getting anything done, but other than that, that's going good. We're waiting for the county to get all their dollar figures put together with the road project we did, so that has to, the builder's asphalt has to get all the documentation to the county goes over it, and then it goes to the board to be approved, because there's MFT money in it. And so hopefully we get that for next month. And we got our camera system up out on the intersection of Deer Path and CV Road. So there's a shot from a few minutes ago. So we're one of,
Great.
I don't know how many townships bought systems. The townships bought a total of 15, and the county has 4 or 5. So we're all part of one group, so we can look at any one of those cameras. So if you can scroll up, I
And
think.
this is real time, this isn't just a
It's up,
screenshot?
it goes every 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But that's the intersection, that's one of our worst for drifting. So if we get southwest winds, which is typical, that intersection really gets rough. So it gives us a chance to see what's really happening out there.
Yeah.
And when the snow covers the cameras, you know there's a problem.
You hit defrost.
So it's those weather station ones, right?
Yeah, it's it tells you the outside air temperature, it's got a beacon that tells you the road temperature
Yeah,
and wind direction. I'm not sure how they get the wind direction because there's not a
right.
wind speed thing.
Because they were at the conference, that group.
Frosts,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were at the conference, and the guy who was selling, or at the booth, he was from Batavia,
You
so.
can see what's going on.
But what it allows us to
and
do
sighting.
is as the storms come in, whichever direction they come from, we can pick a camera that's in that direction,
Right.
so we can see how it's coming towards us. The county likes to
There's
use,
Dundee Township.
they're on with some other people, and there's a camera up near Rockford, Belvedere, that they like to use because there's northwest winds that come down, and they need a little more time to get the crews out,
Right.
so. It's good, it'll be interesting, it'll be fun to see, but,
Yeah.
I think that's really neat.
I
it'll be
think it's
helpful.
very cool.
yeah.
I know
Well, keep in mind, our shop is, on this side of the township.
Right.
That road is on that side of the township, they're 6 miles apart.
I know other governments are using those, so.
Batavia has several.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
Now, how did you get notified before? Just by the police?
Well, that was a bad call,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
okay,
Then you know you're a little late.
yeah.
Yeah, they have it on speed dial, all us
Okay.
commissioners,
Okay,
so.
Well, hold on a minute, they were
But
trying.
my niece is pretty good at it too, because she used to party every once in a while, and so she would call me, hey, uncle,
I
getting a little
think,
snowy out here.
yeah,
I think the police were trying to be as helpful as they could, but they can't be everywhere all the time. So I
No.
wouldn't say it was a bad call.
No,
By the time it got
it
to
was
it,
it was a bad call, it made me feel bad that I didn't have the problem taken care of
Gotcha.
already.
right.
thank you.
Because I don't like to see people, I treat those roads like my granddaughters were driving on them. I don't want to see anybody get hurt or stuck or wrecked.
Right. It's good to know.
But
That's
that's
a
it.
question.
Are those pictures available to the public? Can I log on and look at those pictures of those intersections? No?
For a fee.
For a fee,
No, I just
It's
know.
gonna cost you.
That in my home state, there's, I don't know, 50 cameras scattered around the state.
IDOT has them all over.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the-
Well, IDOT Illinois has them all over too.
Oh, okay.
So you
All
can
right.
log into their site.
I just haven't, we-
Yeah, it's the same thing as Iowa's.
Okay.
IDOT.
very good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else? Questions?
I actually had a question about the leaves, and we talked about that, the leaf pickup last month, we talked about that, and I was kinda going through my notes, and, you had mentioned that Fermilab wasn't allowing us to drop our leaves there anymore for free.
Well, they never were for free.
Oh, it wasn't for free,
No.
okay, but that there was a 25% increase as to where we have to drop them now, is that, was
Yes.
I reading that in my
Yes,
notes correctly?
and a bigger drive.
Okay,
So-
so have you talked to Geneva Township and Blackberry Township about raising, I know you have agreements with them for removing their leaves also. Have we talked to them about getting,
We don't know how many leaves we pick up till we're done,
okay,
then they'll get adjusted.
okay,
But it's kind of a floating average because it's, this year, I don't know if we're gonna have as many leaves as we've had in the
Right.
past. Which seems weird. But That one weekend, the leaves all
They go.
blew away
Right.
somewhere.
Well, in my neighborhood, there were,
Not in your
and there's
neighborhood,
always a lot of leaves. And
not down there.
There
I
are
just
some
want-
areas
I
where,
just wanted to tell you that a couple of the neighbors were very happy with their leaf pickup, so just pass along a good
That's
thing.
good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we were in communication with those other townships to make sure that they knew our fees were going up, that in fact then their fees were gonna go up, is that,
I don't know how they structure theirs. Geneva
Okay.
doesn't charge for it.
okay. But we pick up for Geneva and Blackberry
Yeah.
Township, correct?
Yeah,
So
them.
we charge that.
we're charging them, so,
Charge them more?
right.
I don't know. We charge enough.
Well, I just wanted to make sure because we are seeing a huge increase, you said, so I wanted to make sure that those things were taking place, I guess. Those conversations were happening, because if we're seeing a 25% increase, then they should be seeing an increase, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanna make sure. Just checking my notes and.
Yeah.
All right,
anything else? All righty, any trustee reports?
Yes, I have one.
Good.
I want to report on our trip down to Springfield. This is the fourth year of the cycle, and even though it was the fourth year of the cycle for voting and positions, there still was quite a number of people that attended the training sessions. Usually it dwindles off from the first one when there's lots of new people in, and then toward the end, there's a lot of less people. Batavia didn't have their full team down there, but, and we missed you guys that didn't make it, but it was a good training session for me. And it was well worth the trip, so that's all I wanted to say.
Anything else? Any, we have public participation, other than us folks here, we don't have anybody else. So I'm not sure there's any other public here. Under old business, I want to give an opportunity to reconsider the wages resolution. And so, in other words, I think there's a desire to take a look at the resolution with regard to wages.
So let me just say that I think that I was a little hasty in putting forth the last wage resolution. So at this point, I'm gonna make a motion to rescind that resolution.
and I will second it because I'm in agreement, I didn't have a whole lot of
Okay, so there's a
backstory
motion
and
to
going
rescind
forward, so.
the resolution that was passed last month, that in essence gave a 3% increase in the wages. Okay, so this is a motion to rescind,
Yes.
Yes.
okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Well, let's have the clerk call the roll on the motion to rescind the October resolution for compensation for township officials.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes,
Janet,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
Tracy.
No. Okay, so that motion is, that resolution is rescinded. Do I have a new resolution? A new motion?
I have put together a proposal and it's on the table here. You know, I don't know if everybody has it, it was also in an email. I have, some other proposals also after talking to, individually with some of the other board members and, trustees. And I think there's some conversation that needs to happen and, I think I'm gonna let Matt kinda take over.
Can we converse
Yeah.
without a motion?
No, let's have a motion.
A motion to converse?
No.
No, a motion to adopt this proposal for the salaries.
Okay,
Then I move that we adopted the salary resolution that we just rescinded, except we changed the figures to insert a 12% initial starting raise in salary
I have
in
some.
place of the formerly existing.
Okay, so the motion is to have a wage resolution which starts with a 12% increase?
Yes.
What about future years?
Well, wait, before that, the previous motion only applied, didn't it, to, it's 12% for the assessor,
For all the officials?
for all or just some?
The assessor, the supervisor, and the road commissioner.
The three, okay.
Okay, so it
And the
does
clerk.
not,
And the clerk.
okay. Okay, so a 12% increase in wages in the first year, and then what about after that? Each year, a 12% in each year?
No, they're not.
No,
No. A 12% increase in wages for the supervisor, highway commissioner, assessor,
I did 6%
Clerk.
for assessor.
right?
I did flat rates,
And
but
5% thereafter for each year, the 5%.
Okay, so the motion is to adopt a salary of an increase of 12% over the current salary in the first year, and
5%
then
in the
thereafter,
5% in the second year, and then 3% in the consecutive 2 years.
So 12, 5, 3, and 3?
12, 5, 3, and 3.
okay, and this applies to the supervisor, highway commissioner, assessor, and the clerk,
Yes.
okay, and not the trustees,
Right.
okay? There's a motion, is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, so it's been moved that we adopt a salary ordinance which provides a 12% increase in the first year and 5% in the second, and 3% in year 3 and 4, for affecting the supervisor, highway commissioner, assessor, and clerk, and the trustees remain the same.
Correct.
Okay. Did we have a second?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so it's been moved and second. Any other discussion?
My explanation of where I'm coming from is it seems to me that when you set a salary for an employee, what you are doing is you are saying that the board allocates a certain amount of goods and services from society to that employee. And if there is an inflation and the employee is stuck at the same dollar amount salary, that then the employee loses buying power. So an illustration of this would be, let's say that we told our supervisor, we're going to allocate to you 100 dozen eggs. Problem that we have is you can only set these salaries once every 4 years.
Right.
So you look into your crystal ball and say, we're gonna give you 100 dozen eggs this year, and we expect that perhaps there's gonna be some inflation next year, so we'll give you 2% the next year, and 2% the next year, and 2% the next year, and hope that we've guessed right. Well, the 100 dozen eggs that we set for our supervisor 4 years ago, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is now only worth 80 dozen eggs. We've given 2% increase on that for 4 years, so I think that the supervisor is only up to 88 dozen eggs. If we just give the same amount that we gave before, we were setting the salary in effect at a reduction. If we give an additional 12%, it's not like a raise really. It is in dollar amounts, but it's not like a real raise as far as what those dollars can buy you. So I think when we start at 12%, what we're doing is just bringing the employees up to even. We're not giving them any increase at all. We're just giving them the same thing that we gave them 4 years ago. Now, 2% 4 years ago didn't look all that outrageous, but we didn't know what was gonna happen to the economy and what the government was gonna do to us in the intervening 4 years. And we guessed wrong, badly wrong. And I think that by putting 12% increase on that to bring them back up to where they were 4 years ago, what we're doing is basically saying, you work just as much to society today as you were 4 years ago, and then we can look into our crystal ball. The additional raises that we give are just a guess, obviously, but we only get the opportunity to rectify any errors that we make once every 4 years. And I'm hoping that we're rectifying the error by starting at 12%. If you take a look at the actual dollar amount that 12% would be, it is not a huge amount of money. 12% increase over what we have now is $26,342. What was proposed at 5% was $10,957. So we're talking an extra $15,000 on my proposal versus the other proposal. That is 1.3 cents per $100 evaluation on houses. So I don't think that is that much money. I don't think that people who take a look at the figures and who understand why we're doing what we're doing are gonna have a big problem with that, especially considering how good the township has been insofar as keeping the taxes low and keeping the amount of money that we take in order to run the township low. I know there's an idea that somewhere along the line, people are gonna say, my tax bill is way too high. You know, we gotta get rid of some of these governmental units. The governmental unit that makes most sense to me to get rid of, they might say, is the township. But if you take a look at the facts, I don't think they're really gonna find that to be the case. I've run a list of, I've lived in my house since 1986. And I have run a list of my tax bills from 1986 until 2023. I haven't updated it yet. But in that period of time, my assessment has gone up 323%. The rate's gone up 114% on that assessment, so my tax bill is 346.4% more now than it was in 1986. The township tax bill has gone up from $90 to $132. That's $42 more when the tax bill has gone up 346%. So I am paying thousands of dollars more on my tax bill, and the amount that goes to the township is right next to nothing. The road bill is even better than that. The road bill in 1986 on my house was $83.48. The road bill on my house in 2023 was $60.74. So that's actually gone down 22 actual dollars in 38 years. So I don't think that if we give the township road commissioner a couple of $1,000s raise, that is unjustifiable. I don't think if we give the tax assessor a raise, that that's unjustifiable, and I think if anybody looks at the facts and figures, they're gonna say, there's nothing wrong with giving these raises, and we can afford it.
Well said.
Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. I also did some research in the last months, and some things were pointed out to me right after the passing of the resolution last month. There were some years that there was no increases. I also looked at other places that were about our, let's see, how do I, not really our size. It's hard to compare sizes as to the number of people, but in our area and what their salaries are for their people, and trying to get a similar. And a previous job I worked at, they always did that. They always took a group that was similar to us, and you know, we didn't want to be over that group, we didn't really want to be under that group, but we wanted to be fair and in that group. So the percentages are a little high for my liking, but after all the explanation and the research that's been done, I think I can go with that. That's all I got.
Any other discussion? All right, so we
Well,
had,
excuse me, I got one more thing to say.
okay,
We are setting these salaries for the people that are coming in the next election. We're setting them for the position. We don't know who's gonna be in those positions.
Correct.
I just wanted to get that out there too.
I think that's important to say. You know, I did a little bit of research myself over the last month, and again, I think that last month we came to a rash decision, and next go around, I'd like much more discussion on this going forward. You know, there's some figures that maybe just need to be set out there. I do know that the assessor in Geneva is starting at $101,000 this coming term. And I don't know what the raises are after that, each year. I know Blackberry is starting at $90K with a 5% increase the first year, 4% and 3% the following years. I do know after reading the decennial things, we're number 6 out of 16 townships. Our assessor brings in a lot of money for us. And I think, again, we don't know that Tammy has opposition or not, but I would like to say with 30 years of experience, and if she's our person, she is due a good raise. And I think this here, 12%, what we've come to, I think is good. So I feel good about where we're at for that position at least, so. Again, it's been a lot of conversation, a lot of work trying to get this together, so.
Well, I wanna thank you, on behalf of the township for everything that you have all put into this, so we appreciate it.
Any other discussion? All right, let's have a clerk call the roll on approval of the wages resolution, which would provide a 12% increase in the first year for the supervisor, highway commissioner, assessor, and clerk, 5% in the second year, 3%, and 3% in the third and fourth years. If this passes, I will put it in the form of the same form that the previous resolution is in, which spells it out specifically. Any other discussion? So, let's have the clerk call the roll on this motion to adopt a resolution with regard to wages providing 12% in the first year, 5%, second year, 3%, and 3% in the third and fourth years. Okay,
Donnet,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
Yes,
Tracy.
yes. Okay, so what I will do is put this in the form of the verbiage for the resolution. Okay. All right. Then the next item on the agenda is, what is the next item on the agenda? What I'd like to do is just have a formal approval by the board of the decennial committee reports. Now, the committees have adopted them. What I'm suggesting is that we now adopt them as the township board. So do I have a motion to approve the decennial committee reports for the road district and the township?
So moved.
Second.
Is it moved and seconded? Any other discussion?
Who moved Susanna and seconded Donnet?
It was West, that,
West?
West moved it.
and then Donna.
West
Wait a
and
minute,
Donnet.
wait a minute. Who moved?
West.
Mr. West
Okay.
moved, Mr. Donnet seconded the motion.
Got it.
Any discussion? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on approval of the decennial committee reports for the road district and the township.
West,
Yes.
Zorn,
yes,
Donnet,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the presentation of the levies. So you have a copy, well, the way this is, should work is that we need to present the levy at this point and then adopt the levy in December. So do I have a motion to adopt and present the road district levy as it's outlined?
You say present and then adopt in December.
What we're actually doing is
So just acknowledge that they've been presented.
acknowledge that, they've been presented.
I move that we acknowledge that the road district levy was presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, good. Moved and seconded. Any questions about the road district levy?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay,
What's the percentage of the levy?
2% increase.
Thank you.
okay. Any other discussion on the road district levy?
And that's just the 2% on the levy, I did not go after the new construction, so trying to keep the taxes down as best I can.
Any other questions, comments, discussion? So let's have the clerk call the roll on the approval of the road district levy as presented.
Donnet,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
West,
Yes?
Zoring,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. All right, then we shall have the final approval then in December. How about the township levy?
Move that we acknowledge receipt of the township levy.
And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
For the GA fund, is there a percent we can't go above when we?
No, the way the way the levy works, when a tax cap county, so that we can propose a levy anywhere, but if it exceeds the tax cap, the county will reduce it.
Okay, so,
And so what this is a overall increase of about 4.29% over the previous year. They're in the general assistance thing, it's a 19% increase. And the other ones are all around 4%.
so when we do the budget, can we put more into that?
No,
No,
you
now-
you levy,
now's the time you do it.
Yeah,
you
now's
budget,
the-
you budget from the levy. In other words, you've got a levy, that's the amount of money you're gonna get. The budget is how you're gonna use it.
Okay,
So should we go up a higher percentage?
Okay, if you go above a higher percent, the county is gonna knock it down.
But we can go up a
Well-
higher percent in one fund if we go down a lower
Not
percent.
a percent, dollars.
Dollars.
What's the max we can levy? Isn't it 5%?
Yeah, it's 5%.
No,
isn't
okay,
it?
the max,
Cost of
okay,
living.
the way the levy works is that you assume the cost of living, a CPI, which is now about 2 or 3%, and a new construction, which would add a little bit back, so that gives you what you have to work with, okay? Unless you go with truth and taxation, and you propose to the public that you want to go above that.
we don't wanna get into that, I don't think. But my thought is on this general assistance, and I was asking some questions because I was trying to lead into something. We're already behind on GA, and I don't think 15's enough. Just throwing it out there. And
Then you have to reduce something else.
And the assessor's budget is lower than it was in 23, 24.
We're not talking about a budget, we're talking about levies.
Well, levy, but there's less than levy. It was in my levy last year.
You don't have a levy.
In the levy overall, what was my
Okay.
portion?
Let's do one thing.
There isn't.
Let's do one thing at a time. We're gonna be behind on general assistance.
I think what she's saying is if she has less money this year than she requested, that she had last year, then there's gonna be that differential that
Right.
can go to GA. Don't let me speak for you, but.
No, I'm
Yeah.
trying to, and I always.
Okay,
kinda
well, I
get
take
shut
your
down.
comment the wrong way. I thought you were unhappy because you were getting less of the pie.
She
But-
is.
Wow, yeah, a little bit. I'm just pointing it out, I'm
Right.
just, that's kind of my job, is to watch my stuff on my end.
Okay.
There's not enough to start with.
So if we don't have enough for GA and we're mandated to do it, where are we gonna get it?
You have to take it from the general fund or the road fund.
Transfers up to 10%?
No, it's not transfers, you just pay it out of that. You have to do general assistance.
And the max we can levy is this amount, this 4.29%.
Well, we could probably go a little bit higher. I mean, you can put it, and again, if it goes higher than that, the county will simply say, no, we're not gonna give that to you. You've exceeded the tax cap.
So from the
It's the cost of living or 5%, whichever's lowest. So I couldn't find their cost of living figure, not very much last year.
So from the one of the classes I went to was about levies, and 5%'s the max, but the
Right.
county can knock it down. And
So why
that's the
not,
number he's come up with from the CPI and the new construction.
okay, so if we ask for 4.5% or 4.75, the worst case, they say no? I mean, is that what I'm
Right.
understanding?
Right, they'll do the math.
So,
Let's just go up
so why
then.
not go up? Why not just get a no if that's what that is, but why not ask for the max we can ask for? Right?
Makes sense to me.
That's what we kinda learned in
I mean,
class, to go
I-
to the max, and usually you'll get it.
So
And
then
if-
maybe Lee's problem is he doesn't know what the max is because the CPI hasn't been determined yet.
Sure.
When will that be out, or is it out, or?
I
mean,
would
one-
think so, but I don't know where. I couldn't find it on the internet for the county.
Well, we should try to find that
I agree.
and then go off of that.
So we have time to look into this for the next meeting?
Yes, we should pass, we have to pass the levy in December, because it needs to be at the county near the end of December.
Who is it at the county that will say no? if you
The
accept
tax
it?
extension,
Tax extension
extension
clerk's
people in
office.
the county clerk's office.
So those would be the people who tell us what the CPI is?
They should.
Well, I mean, if you look, if you look at the CPI from the Department of Labor in the United States, it's about 2%.
You can ask for more, but you're only gonna get what they'll allow you to get, so.
Well, it's worth
Right,
asking.
but I mean, why not ask?
Well, yeah, you
That's-
can, but
that's
if you're
where
starting
I'm
to
at.
figure next year's monies, you need to kinda know what you're really gonna get.
When will they tell us that?
Right.
When did they come up?
We'll get it,
January, February?
yeah, January, February, thereabouts.
So before the budget?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta put the levy in December, so.
The thought process is you do your budget first, then you see how much money you need, and then you ask for that much money in your levy. But it's pretty hard when the levy comes in December and the
Right,
budget doesn't
right,
start till
right.
March. And you also have to have enough money in your account to take you from April first to our first tax payment.
June, right?
Um,
Yep. Yes, yeah.
Which is okay here, but in the olden days, Jim would borrow money from the road district for 3 months to cover the bills until the tax money start coming in. So we got that kind of covered. But for my purposes, I wanna know, I've already done my budget, so I wanna know that what I'm getting is what I'm planning for in that budget.
So if we ask for more than they're willing to give us, does that screw you up in your budget?
No, no, two
It's
separate
two,
tax levies.
it's two separate tax levies. There are two units of government, separate units of government.
So you're taxing, now you got two things, you can, your percentage increase goes off of last year's taxes. Then you've also got new construction but you take that times your tax rate, which is like an add some money, and I think in your case it's around 14,000.
Yes.
So you got your, whatever the percentage rate on the whole works, and then you add another 14. That'll get you, so if you went 4 and add to 14, or 2 and add to 14, you know, you're gonna be close.
So what is the mechanics of asking for more? We just take one of these figures and increase it?
Oh, they'll do the math for you. They'll knock it down.
We adopt the levy presented to the township and then they deal with it.
Yeah, but if we wanna go up an additional 0.5%,
We
then
could.
effectively what we need to do is add more money to one of these accounts.
Well, you're at 4%, you said,
4.29.
Well, about 4.29%.
counting the new construction, or?
Yes.
That's including that 14,000 for new construction.
Yes.
You've been doing these for a long time. What's your experience?
Right,
Me?
You,
I only had 1 year where I asked for more than I got. And I like to keep it within a few bucks. But it's just math, you know?
Right.
You know what you taxed last year, and you know what the rate is, and then you know what new construction is, so it's, you know, it's pretty simple. You're not gonna get more than you can. Now, some years, we've had more than 5% cost of living, so we were capped at 5%, but those were, you know, pretty big growth years. And we've had some great new construction. I mean, you look at our EVA in this township, it's 1.3 billion or something, it's amazing.
Always like to point out, if you combined, we're half a township, if you combine Batavia and Geneva Township, we would have the highest assessed valuation in the county.
But you're right in thinking about the different lines
Right.
that you're talking about. Now is the time to adjust monies in the funds, the different funds that are available. The GA is a fund, like in my case, I've got a general road fund and a permanent road fund. I can adjust between them on the levy, or have to wait for a budget hearing or special hearing to move money between one and the other.
so my original intent wasn't to cause any issues or get on anybody about anything,
It's a good
but,
thing to talk about,
but the
John.
only thing is we didn't have a lot of GA before, and all of a sudden, we have a bunch of GA, general assistance, and we're gonna run out of money probably this year, and we may run out of money in the upcoming budget year, and I'm just putting that out there.
Well, and everything's gone up
Right.
on our end too, so to see this for my office go down is a little alarming. When we're in inflation and it just doesn't, I'm kinda going backwards. So,
That's my only comment,
that's
so.
disturbing to me.
So where are we?
We've moved to accept the fact that the levy was presented to us. Or reflect the fact that the levy was presented to us.
Okay, are there suggestions to change the levy as it exists?
How much you wanna add to GA?
Do you have
Everything
a-
you'll need.
Do you have a,
Right.
it's hard to say, I know. I mean, if there's 5 people getting GA and 2 people go off of it, you don't know that, so you can't really make a projection. But do you have one? I mean, do you think we're gonna spend 18 on it?
No.
You don't, yeah, okay. That's the hard part, and I understand that from your point of view, I get that
Right.
part. I just think we're gonna be short, and, Since this is a town fund, if we're over on GA, that's a line item, right?
Right.
No, there are three funds.
Okay,
The general,
you're
the
right,
general town
you're right.
fund, the general assistance fund, and the mental health fund.
Okay, you're right.
Now, you can still adjust your budget, you just
Sure.
have to have a special meeting ahead of like one of our regular meetings, to have a hearing to take money from one fund and put to another. You gotta follow your rules on advertising a meeting and stuff like that. So it's
The total you can ever put in is 10%.
10% of the fund, yeah.
You have the donor fund,
That's what I would say.
The Don fund. You know, I guess what I wanted, what I'm after here is if we want to change the tax levy ordinance for the township, you know, and then I'd like to get some kind of direction as to where you wanna go.
Right now, I would say just boost it up as much as we can.
That's where I'm at. I want it maxed. I want them to say no. If they say no, then they say no. But I wanna ask for the most we can ask for.
Okay,
And also, we gotta find out the cost of living.
Right.
That might help too, once we find that number out.
When's the last time 5 was asked for?
what, I'm sorry, what? 5?
When's the last time that we asked for 5%?
When the cost of living was above that.
When, yeah.
When was that?
2 years.
Two years ago, we passed a levy which was exceeded the tax cap, and it was reduced. We also 2 years ago went to the truth in taxation business.
Was it significant? the
Well,
reduction?
yeah, because it allows you to ask for more. You still can exceed the tax cap.
How about if we make this a learning and a growth
Yeah.
experience for ourselves and
Go for the 5%
go for the 5 and when
plus new
if
construction.
they tell us that we gotta have it reduced, then we'll know
Okay,
that.
okay,
Plan
I
on it
will-
in your
I-
budget.
Yeah.
Okay, I will increase the levy by 5% plus new construction.
That's what I would guess.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
You know you're getting your max ask.
Okay? I will do that, and we will adjust the levy amounts. And I will give that to you, and then we can, then we can deal with it in December.
Sounds good. The worst thing they could do is say
Try
no.
to get that done as soon as you can and get it out there.
I will. Okay. All right. Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
we're at the end. I don't think there's any other business on the agenda. In that case, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
And I will second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. We are adjourned.